Picture this. You and your rich best friend are a complete dynamic duo, managing to reject men that your best friend isn't interested in using your reverse charms in a persona far different from your own, but using your best friend's name. It's the perfect system. However, when a new blind date crops up for your best friend, she comes straight to you for help, even though you haven't put on your men rejecting persona in a little while. You hesitantly agree, and the next thing you know, you're sitting waiting for her blind date. But not just any man shows up. Oh no, as it turns out, he's your boss. But not just any boss, the rich, handsome, young CEO of the company that you work for. You want to run and hide, thinking he must be able to recognize you, but you play along and attempt to push him away. And this is how you respond.
왼쪽이 사만다, 오른쪽이 레이첼이에요. 거금 1,000,000원씩 드린 애들이랍니다.
If you haven't already guessed from the title of this video or from the incredible scene setting from yours truly, today we're going to be discussing Business Proposal, the cheesy, funny rom-com K-drama with the classic CEO and co-worker trope. However, the main focus of this video isn't actually said CEO and co-worker, but actually their respective closest friends, whose trope I will call strong independent woman and doting loving boyfriend. But before we get into that, let's dive into the drama as a whole. Disclaimer, there will be spoilers in this video, so don't watch if you don't want that. These are all my subjective opinions, apart from the actual legit facts, so discussion is encouraged, but no arguments please. And of course, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Business Proposal first aired in 2022 and was part of a group of new dramas, including dramas such as What's Wrong with Secretary Kim, which triggered a new surge of CEO or chaebol K-dramas that hadn't been seen for a few years. This style of drama was extremely popular in the early 2010s, but then was so overdone that people wanted something new. So this was exciting as it took people who had been watching K-dramas for a long time back to a world that they used to know very well, but with a modern twist. The drama is set around the fictional company Go Food, which is where the female lead works and the male lead is the CEO. In fact, the only person who doesn't work at Go Food is the second female lead, which is possibly a reason as to why we get so much content from the second leads as well as the first. The drama as a whole explores the misunderstandings and messiness of the female lead's actions, by her first acting as her best friend on a blind date, to her then admitting that she isn't her best friend and instead adopting a persona of a completely different name to the point where she fully admits who she is to the male lead. However, alongside this, in the B plot, the second female lead is dealing with the consequences of having been cut off from her father's money, and is now living by herself and making her own way in the world. A very Rachel from Friends scenario. To which she ends up living right next to the second male lead, who she originally met in a completely ordinary setting before finding out who he really was and before he found out who she really was. This in itself causes friction between the two, which is then resolved after a sloppy night out in which they both get drunk and she ends up in his apartment. It's already easy to see why there is more interest in the second leads, because not only do they get almost as much screen time as the first, but they also arguably have a more interesting storyline and a more realistic and healthy outcome. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we actually need to understand the characters and their roles in this storyline, and believe me, we have plenty of variety. Shin Hari is the daughter of two chicken shop owners and is constantly surrounded by and also surrounds herself with food, from where she lives to where she works and even where she spends her free time, the restaurant where her crush works. Therefore, it's no surprise that she herself is an incredible cook and practically saves the company with her recipes and incredible ideas. She may be a little clumsy, I mean there's rarely a female lead who isn't, but she's bubbly, outgoing, and so hardworking. She is also good, however, at getting herself into a bit of trouble, which is amusing for the audience but also extremely frustrating. She adopts the persona Shin Gum-hee after being caught by the male lead pretending to be the second female lead. This creates an abundance of confusion, misunderstandings, and moments of almost getting caught, from being in the elevator at work with the chairman, the first male lead, and the second male lead, to being noticed as an extremely diligent worker and being called to have a meeting with the chairman and the first male lead, to being on a business trip and making the chairman fall into a bucket of water just so that he wouldn't find out that she was actually the one that he was making his grandson marry. In other words, a perfectly amusing drama that makes you want to rip your hair out. She always means well though, and even when faced with adversity from the chairman, especially when he finds out who she really is, she's strong and does what she thinks is right. Though she does a lot of problematic things, I wouldn't actually describe her as a problematic character, and she actually has a lot of depth and an incredible personality. She's not written as a flat character, and it's obvious that the writers wanted her to have many aspects to her life and ways that we will sympathise with her as well. I mean, just look at how she was led on by her crush for years, who is more than happy to go out with every other girl in the city, but only realises that he loves her when she's in a relationship? Red flag much? It's also important to note that we wouldn't sympathise with her character or even be able to relate to her had she not been written with such depth. Her messiness, her emotions, her moments of reflection, and also moments of joy make her relatable to a wide variety of people, not just women. So while her messiness is what the plot is literally built around, we get to see so much more of her than just this mask that she's putting on, and to be honest, it makes me want to have a friend like her, because the only reason she got into this mess in the first place is because she was trying to help her best friend, and that is the epitome of a girl's girl if I've ever seen one. Her love interest is none other than rich kid turned CEO Kang Tae-moo, the mysterious head of the company, the one that no one can truly figure out. I'm gonna say this first and foremost before I even start fangirling and giving my subjective opinion, because he is without a doubt a red flag in a few different ways. Roll the clip.
합시다 나랑 결혼. 키스값 낼 돈 없으면 그냥 키스로 갚던가.
But he's also a green flag in a lot of different ways too, possibly ways only noticeable after he's gotten together with Hattie. His cold exterior, constant sharpness, and the way that he slicks his hair back every other frame a classic tells of the CEO character. However, he is a lot more than that too, and whilst he may not be the true softy boss underneath like we see in other K-dramas, such as King the Land, if you know you know, he does have a soft spot for those that he cares about and actually yearns more than I see most men doing nowadays. Like, you can't tell me this iPad kid is not completely smitten with her. One thing that I do really love about his character though, that gives him a lot more depth than many male leads, is how he was orphaned and the way that it happened. On first watch you see his adversity to the rain as possibly something meaningless and illogical, until it's revealed that that's how his parents died. The flashbacks to him witnessing it and the guilt that he feels from it in the later episodes make his character a lot more well-rounded and very easy to sympathise with. It suddenly makes his cold exterior and mysterious nature understandable to an audience watching, as then you can then understand that he tries not to let people in because he's actually just afraid of losing them. Now, this is something a lot more commonly seen in female characters across not just K-dramas but Western movies, shows and more, so to have a man, and not only that, a man in a K-drama, openly showing anxiety and how he experiences it, how he deals with it, is so refreshing, and in my opinion, very progressive and positive. This is also seen in his relationship with Hattie, who he's been able to open up to and be vulnerable with, giving them an extremely strong foundation for their relationship. Like, it makes me think about that scene when they're in the hospital and he's broken his arm after the car crash in the rain, which you would have thought would have really triggered him, but actually when he's talking to Hattie by the window watching the rain, he says to her, and I may be paraphrasing here, that this is the first time that he's been able to look at the rain and not panic. And I think that is such a beautiful thing. And even though I do believe that the second leads have overall a more realistic and healthy relationship, it can't be understated how moments like that make the first leads prove what a healthy relationship should look like. But back to his character. When we first meet him, he's stubborn, driven, and extremely difficult. There's charm and chic in there, but outwardly, we just see a guy who is rich and content to be so. Obviously, we know that this isn't the case, but this is the first impression that we get of him. He's understandably completely against the idea of an arranged marriage and carries that into his blind dates. These are moments where we can truly see that he can be a red flag when it comes to other women, because tell me why this man shows absolutely no interest in these beautiful, intelligent, and successful women and basically completely ignores them the whole day. Not very gentlemanly behaviour, I must say, Kang Tae-moo. And even when he's expressing his interest in Hadi, he can be very pushy. I mean, I'm just thinking of that scene.
그리고 다방면으로 잘합니다.
You know what I'm talking about. I can't fault him too much though, because again, just like Hadi, he has a lot of depth to his character and we get to see so much more of him than what is shown on the surface, which I think is beautiful and really interesting. So K-drama writers, take notes and do more like this, please. Cha Sung-hoon is the pookiest character possibly ever, and I know that that's not a word, but it should be, because how else am I supposed to describe him? We're introduced to him as Tae-moo's secretary / personal assistant, but as it turns out, they're actually as close as brothers, and they even grew up together. He's practically Tae-moo's rock, and is extremely loyal and caring. He wants the best for his brother. However, as a character in his own right, he is extremely kind, gentlemanly, and a great boundary setter, to a fault occasionally. Like Tae-moo, he also lost his parents at a young age, although he didn't actually have any family left to take care of him, so unlike Tae-moo, he grew up in an orphanage which was run by nuns. Is there anyone in the show that we don't feel extreme sympathy for? We see him go back to the orphanage in the show, and just seeing how much he cares for the children there, and how much he respects the women who brought him up, even referring to one of them as his mum, it's no surprise that he's stolen the hearts of more watchers. Sorry, Tae-moo. His dynamic with Young-soo is extremely interesting too, as he flips from being incredibly interested in her to finding out that she set up his closest friend to then hating her on the surface and then absolutely falling head over heels in love with her, the woman who was supposed to be marrying Tae-moo. It doesn't really get more complicated than that. His dynamic with Tae-moo is perhaps just as or even more interesting though, as they truly have a brotherly bond and take care of one another on physical and emotional levels. For example, he makes sure that Tae-moo is comfortable and safe and happy, and Tae-moo reciprocates by tidying Sung-hoon's apartment every time that he goes over to make sure that he's in a comfortable environment. And just the fact that he was welcomed into Tae-moo's home from such a young age shows the bond and the care that they have for each other's well-being. And this is a moment we can't forget either.
둘이 사귀냐?
네?
그렇잖아. 일 핑계로 내내 붙어 다니고.
이 사장님은 몰라도 전 절대 아닙니다. 뭐 혹시나 그렇더라 하더라도 이 사장님은 제 취향 아니고요.
그래? 취향이 아니?
아파요? 좀 살살. 아닙니다.
다음에 다시 올게요.
가조사님.
And this wouldn't be a proper character profile for Sung-hoon without mentioning the absolute masterpiece that is episode 7. He could not have taken those glasses off quicker. If you know, you know. So overall, I can't fault his character either because of the depth in it, just like the other characters. The way he deeply cares for the people around him despite his own experiences, and his love for Young-soo are all testaments of his personality, the genius of the writers behind it, and the perfect execution of the acting too. Jin Young-soo is my personal favourite character, and may not have been the reason that I started the drama, but was sure a reason that I stayed. You go into this drama thinking she's going to be the classic rich girl, which she may seem like at first, but she's actually one of the most hardworking characters in the show. She's not only incredibly funny, incredibly stylish, incredibly beautiful, and full of depth, but she's also the best second lead you could ever get in a drama. She's always encouraging and rooting for Hadi, and ends up in the best relationship with no messiness between the two girls. The fact that they stay best friends throughout is a testament to both of their characters. There's no fighting over the same man or unnecessary drama between the two, just love and beautiful, realistic friendship. Back to her character though, she's quite possibly who I aspire to be in life. Like, yes, she was born into wealth and relied on it for the majority of her life, but she steps up when that changes and makes her own way in life, going so far as to cut her father off and start her own business, lovingly invested by the doting loving boyfriend Cha Sung-hoon. She may not have had the most difficult life in comparison to some of the other characters, but she holds herself and carries herself with such confidence and charisma that even the most hardened characters can't stay that way for long around her. I mean, just think back to when she and Sung-hoon were drawing a line between them, and she still managed to charm her way around that and end up in the best relationship possible. Her sister-like relationship with Hattie is also a beautiful one to see. Like I mentioned earlier, it's very difficult to find a drama where two female leads or characters aren't fighting with each other, so much so that I cannot think of one off the top of my head right now. She is the most supportive best friend and wants to do what is best for Hattie, and most importantly, they have fun together. They actually love each other and want to see each other happy. And yes, they may fight sometimes, but there's only love between them. I already said that I'd love a friend like Hattie, but at this point, I just want to be friends with both of them. And to be honest, even though the point of this video is to talk about the second leads, I feel like I've talked more about the relationships between the two respective best friends more, and I guess that says a lot about the plot as well. And of course, a special mention to my favourite side character in a drama possibly ever. You can't help but love him, truly. Now to the reason we're all here, the second leads. Their story is so freaking cute that you can't help be sucked in. They first meet just as two regular people at a convenience store where he sees her scolding a child, but also making the best out of a bad situation. Let's just say he practically melts and falls in love at first sight. I would call him a simp, but I love him too much for that, even though he low-key is like, boy, you just met her. As it happens though, Youngso is just as much of a simp, as seen by the animation that shows up around her and around his head when she sees him properly for the first time. They are the definition of a match made in heaven. Sorry to sound so cliche. The problem arrives when Hattie pretends to be Youngso on the blind date with Taemu, which Sung-hoon knows about, so when he finds out that she was the one that lied to his best friend, he gets very closed off and very professional despite his feelings, even when she moves next door, which says a lot. This back and forth between the two is seen for a couple of episodes and is so frustrating to watch because we know as the audience that they're gonna get together, as we do in every K-drama, but it still makes it frustrating because we just want to see them together properly. And mind you, this K-drama is only 12 episodes, so 3 or 4 episodes of them ignoring each other is literally an eternity. But it's hard to be mad when the outcome of the whole situation is that they do end up getting together. As previously mentioned, it's thanks to a night out where they both get drunk and she kisses him. Obviously, we could get into the problematic nature of the drunk night and what happens, but thankfully, it was definitely not a situation where either of them were getting taken advantage of, which is a good thing. And of course, from that night and from her not remembering, we get the infamous scene from episode 7, which every K-drama fan knows very well. And if you don't, you're about to see it right now.
그리고 앞으로 다시 잊지 못하게 해줄게요.
I don't think I've ever replayed a moment in a K-drama more than I have that moment, and that is a hard bar to reach. There is a tiny bump in their relationship though when we see Taemu ask Sung-hoon to go on a blind date for him because he doesn't want to go, an incredible parallel if I do say so myself, and it turns out to be a character we haven't actually spoken much about yet, Youngso's cousin and sort of kind of business rival. This causes a lot of friction between the two, but thankfully it only lasts for about an episode and is very quickly resolved at the orphanage where Sung-hoon grew up. To be honest though, I think this is just more of a representation of their healthy relationship because they can be mad at each other, but it's never extended for too long and they actually talk it out and communicate like adults. This is a rarity in K-dramas. Like, I can think of a few, or more than a few actually, maybe actually almost every K-drama ever, where they'll have a secret and it's ruining the relationship and they don't want to communicate with their partner until like the last episode and it just causes so much trouble. Like, oh! So if any of you guys need a break from that kind of thing, then Business Proposal is the perfect show to watch for that. But honestly, I think what helps this couple so much is the fact that they have such strong off-screen chemistry as well. Like, I'll be watching interviews and clips of them doing press, and they have such great chemistry. It's as if the characters have literally come to life. I don't often find myself kicking my feet and giggling at an interview, unless it's Keke Palmer and Sean Evans, if you know, you know. So you know they have great chemistry when that happens. And it also says a lot that they won Best Couple in a K-drama alongside their co-stars, because K-drama watchers were just so engaged in that couple, and it's not a hot take that they are actually the best couple in the show. Netflix, we need a spin-off, please. But maybe that's the beauty in their on-screen relationship, the fact that we don't actually see everything, but we see the important parts. It leaves more to our imagination and doesn't give us all the facts, so we can kind of create what their relationship would look like without having it all played out on screen, which I think is a beautiful thing, because it shows how much we know about the characters that we can formulate opinions for ourselves. Maybe there's beauty in the unknown in that case. And I can't end this without a little honourable mention to one of my favourite moments between them, apart from episode 7. In episode 10 at the gym, Youngso is watching a video that Taemu had sent her because of a bribe, of Sunghoon drunk and crying over her latest Instagram post, saying he misses her. Is that not just the cutest thing ever? And the fact that he reacted just the same in real life as his character does in the show makes it even more realistic and that much cuter. I have to say though, Business Proposal is one of my favourite K-dramas ever, and it may not be on everyone's list, but it sure is on mine. I think the storytelling, the acting, and the characters are all so well done, and even though it's only 12 episodes, it's packed and exciting and a beautiful 12 episodes. We get bits of the slightly more unrealistic and unlikely storylines, and then also alongside it some very realistic and vulnerable storylines. Being able to pair those together, make them work alongside each other, and come out with a successful show highlights how successful it is as a drama. I think whether you like it or not, it is objectively a really well-written drama with an incredible representation of what healthy relationships should look like and how a man should be treating you, which can't be said for a lot of the dramas that have been coming out, especially at the moment. It's good to go back to a drama and see what a healthy relationship should look like, and that is my biggest takeaway from the show. So please go watch if you haven't, rewatch if you have, leave your opinion down in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you know when the next Drama Queen video will be out. Until next time, my drama princes and princesses, stay dramatic, mwah!